Views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Lisa and Robin are two fun friends diving deep into conversations where nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome back to another episode of Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live, as well as we are live on YouTube. We are always up on Spotify. I wanted to tell you I may never watch another movie again.
Why?
We watched a movie on Netflix maybe 3 or 4 nights ago, and the first 20 minutes was the entire story. Something's going to hit the earth. We're in the control center, and we're watching the story. Then 21 minutes to 40 minutes, we watch the same exact story with the same dialogue, just from another person's opinion. Same dialogue. Then that goes on for 20 minutes. Then the last 20 minutes is the third person, same dialogue. I go, did you writers just write 20 minutes of dialogue and you put 3 cameras on it? And now I'm watching a 20-minute movie for an hour. And then that was the end. So the first...
What movie was this?
I'll look it up. When I tell you I was angry and stomping around my house of what a waste of time.
Because what was that movie I told you the other night? I was like, don't watch it because at the end it's like it just goes disappear. I don't want to be left hanging.
Well, yes, it was very similar of that where so you didn't progress the story.
Out.
You didn't progress the story anymore. You kept it capped at the 20 minutes when we're like, oh, what happens?
Yes.
And then you just told us literally using the same dialogue. Yes. I'm like, do you think I'm dense that I didn't get it the first 20 minutes we watched that you had to repeat it 2 other times?
But I think but I think it might be just you might have to like reinforce it because I think
it wasn't that deep
for
it wasn't
people
deep.
That are not intellectual or like
it wasn't
a
that
certain
deep.
IQ. I think everybody they're making a certain IQ. Like hit you got to hit this range.
But
and
I'm
for
telling
really
you,
smart people, then you're bored.
I'm telling you, there was nothing deep about this that needed it. It was an action. Oh, my God, missiles will hit the Earth. I don't need that 3 separate times that the missile's still going to hit the... I was so infuriated. And then yesterday, I'm like, I'm going to take a nice bath. I've got my face mask. I'm listening to the rest of my podcast. John starts watching a movie, and I go, how was it? He goes, well, it's kind of like that where they told it from 4 different people's opinions. And I said, if this is what Hollywood's doing, I'm never watching a movie again.
Hollywood's changing right now. You know, Hollywood's changing.
They went from only superheroes, exhausted that, remaking Superman 3 times.
I know, but and now like
Batman.
the Marvel, they're not like.
So now they're off Marvel, but now they're doing this. Do you not know how? Let Netflix make it.
Yes.
If you don't know what you're doing, you should all retire. Let Netflix make it, or let HBO make it. You know what it is? They're doubling down instead of learning what's worked and what's changed. There are millions and millions of books out there. Go pick a book that you liked and make it into a screenplay and make it into a movie or make it into a... And I'm also a little sick of one of the things I noticed, the reason why I even started watching... Look at me on this tirade. The only reason I even watched this movie that was like, oh, great, it's an hour and 30 minutes or whatever it was. I don't want to get involved in an 11-part series.
Yeah. I
don't want to dedicate that kind of time. I just want to be in and out. I don't want to have to now dedicate 5 days to this because...
See, I don't know. I like a good story, though. It's like putting down a good book. When you have a good dialogue, a good story, I try to have to keep myself from binge watching just because.
Yes.
I like to savor... and anticipate what's coming next.
But I don't savor.
And I like to drag it out. That's what I like. God, I lost my point. I was going to say something earlier.
Sorry.
No, I don't know what it was.
But I'm telling you right now, if Hollywood doesn't get their act together, I'm never seeing another movie.
That's true.
I don't need much incentive.
I did see something I did see something that looked good that came out the other day. See, I thought Yellowstone. Did you like Yellowstone?
I loved Yellowstone.
So see, I liked that. I liked that 11-part series.
Yes.
Kind of a thing.
Breaking Bad. I
Yes.
loved Breaking Bad.
Yes.
I'm enjoying, I know I'm late to the party, but I'm enjoying Bridgerton. But again, I
Yes.
don't, my spouse isn't going to like Bridgerton.
Yeah. So finding the time to watch
So
it
now I'm
solo,
watching
yeah.
it, but then when I'm watching something with him, I don't want to get involved in another series.
I know.
I just
Because
don't.
then you're like, what? Wait, this similar story kind of the other one. Oh, what I was going to say is like movies like that, but series that went out like that. Game of Thrones, like how long did that go on? 10 years?
Yes.
And like you put all this energy into it and then for it just to fizzle out at the end, like such a disappointment. It left such an ugly
I read the
taste in my
books,
mouth.
so I didn't watch the series.
So I don't know how it ended in the book. If was it any better, but because it was just kind of like, and we're done.
I feel
And
like
it
there
was
were
just
so
like,
many
throw it all out.
storylines in Game of Thrones that I don't remember all the storylines from reading it. But I
Yeah.
read it before it was an HBO series.
Yeah.
Like, I read it before I was taking the train, and I'm like, oh, I'll grab a big fat book so that I can't read the book too quickly
Right.
on the train and then be out of book. And I remember being like, I don't know, 12 pages in, and the kid gets pushed off the castle. And you look at, you're only 12 pages in, and you look at this whole story, and
And
I
you're like,
thought,
uh-oh.
I am in for a fun
Yeah.
ride. This
Yeah.
is going to be good.
Yeah.
I love when
Do
action
you
happens.
feel like
so-
it fizzled out at the end of the book?
No, I loved the
Okay.
books.
So I don't know if they just were like, hey, everybody's done. We're done. I feel like The Walking Dead was like that. It went so many seasons. It was like, oh my gosh.
I stopped watching it. John watched it all, and I just said, it's the same thing. I can't yell at the screen.
Yeah.
Don't let them in.
I don't think that we
They kept trying to merge with people, and I'd
we
be like,
stopped
"Don't
watching
let them
after they
in."
started like morphing. Like they could be they were evolving, and I'm like, you know.
But you know what I watched every minute of and loved?
What?
Breaking Bad.
Yes. I stopped watching it just because it got busy, but I want to go back to that.
I could
have to go
rewatch
back
that as
to-
a series. When I get a cold or when I get the flu and I'm 4 days down, I'm going to be on the couch rewatching Breaking Bad. I loved every season of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, my kids like that too. Chris liked it too. I'm just not a person to watch out. Like, so now I don't sit down and watch TV by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very rarely do I sit down and watch TV. Most of the time, I can't work the remote.
Exactly why I'm not watching the TV. The newest thing is we have the sound bar. You have this, you have this.
Yes.
And before we used to turn it on with this one remote and everything would turn on. Now you have to go and get the sound bar remote, and I've already lost interest.
You can't sync up the, yeah.
No, it
I don't
was
like to
synced
do-
at one time,
But
and
you
now
can't
it's not.
resync it.
I don't know. That's not my business.
I
when
don't
things
like
come to the
scrolling.
remote, not my business.
See, I
Not
think
my business.
that's where my neurodivergent brain kicks in, because I'm like, I don't have the time. If I already had something already picked out and sit down to turn it on and watch it, but I'm like, okay, now I've got to go through Netflix, I've got to go through Hulu, I've got to go through Prime, I've got to go through all these to find something, and I don't have the attention span to go scrolling and looking for something. I'm not interested in it. I immediately, if I want to turn the TV on, I immediately want to be taken away into something that I like.
Yes.
I don't want to search for it.
Well, my whole thing is sometimes you can scroll for 20 minutes before you find something. And 20 minutes is, I don't even want to be on this couch anymore. If the cat is not lying on my lap, I will get up. But if I will never move, I will hold having to pee for 4 hours while my cat is asleep on my lap. But yeah, so I asked John, how was that last night? He's like, it's kind of like that, where they repeated the storyline. And I said, did they repeat the dialogue word for word? And he's like, no, but it was kind of close. I'm not watching it. Thank God you watched it.
Thank God.
I'm not watching
Thank
it.
God you buffered that out for me.
Yes, but I was thinking about how you were calling The Witcher a male soap opera. And
Yes.
I think it's so
just
funny.
even the way they talk to each other.
Yeah, I don't. I only became a soap opera person when it was Melrose Place.
Oh yeah.
And it was at night, or Dallas. Like, nighttime soap operas I was really into, but the daytime ones I weren't, because everyone always had amnesia.
So I never got to watch Melrose. I don't know how old I was when Melrose Place came out.
It's got to be 19, 20, 21. Because I had my own apartment.
1921?
19, 20, 21. Those years, maybe. You were 19, 20, or
Oh,
21.
I was like, are you like 1921? I was like, damn.
Sorry, not 19.
See, that was a blonde fart. I'm in a brain fart.
No, blonde fart was
Yes.
perfect. A blonde fart was totally perfect.
I was like, okay, 1920. Yeah. So I was a nanny. I was a nanny on the Cape. Well, at 19, 19, I was moving my apartment. I didn't watch TV because I was always out socializing. And then I moved to the Cape, and they had one TV, and so it was you were watching. I didn't watch 90210 because we had one TV, and my parents dominated the TV. So if you were going to watch TV, it was whatever they were going to watch.
Absolutely. And they were watching Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
And they were watching
Dateline, 2020, but then they would do Dallas. I forgot what else they would watch at night. My dad was always, if sports were on,
I watched the Iran-Contra hearings.
Yeah.
Ollie North, that poor...
No, I didn't.
I remember being at that age and thinking, if this is the most intelligent man in the military history and he can't remember or recall anything that happens under his tenure, is he really intelligent enough to be running the military? And my mother's like, he's a patsy and a scapegoat. And I'm like, well, why are we going through the charade of it?
Right. Due diligence, justice.
You're making, and that's when I just thought, again, the adults cannot be trusted.
Yes.
The adults cannot be trusted. Don't listen to them. Don't trust them. Look at these people lying publicly to everybody on television days on end. Yeah. Just days on end.
Days.
So
I have a couple of things that I wrote down that I would like to talk about. And it could be all broken down. But the things I've been thinking about. So let me just start it off by.
And then we're going to talk about the conspiracy of portion control.
Of portion control?
Or portion sizes.
Well, they did get rid of supersize. I'm like, it's the only thing I would ever upgrade is McDonald's French fries. So I've been thinking about the words resistance, manipulation, maybe just not feeling empowered. And like not feeling empowered or not strong enough to be the best version of myself. So with these things, like feelings that I've been carrying for a week or so.
Let me just tell you, you're perfect just the way you are.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
Love you.
Just because you have a crush on me.
I do.
But I have a crush on you. So it makes it better. It makes it all good. So a puppeteer without any puppets is just a man with a string. Isn't that beautiful?
Did you write that?
No. I was on a movie.
Thank goodness. I was like, we're going to have to now put that on T-shirts and sell it.
But I just thought about that. We could. I mean, there's so many memes that people make. But a puppeteer without any puppets is just a man with a string. And sometimes I feel like I'm a puppet. Or when can we all feel like we've been manipulated? Or you have somebody that is controlling in your life that has this need for power, especially we're watching Witcher right now. But you think about all these, why you don't like those medieval movies and stuff, because it's about power and dominance, about overtaking. And, you think about the women being raped, and you think about the lands being pillaged, and you think about so when we were watching Witcher and they're in battle and these dead bodies are like just all over the place. Think about just like right now, looking back, like think about how many bones, how many people's remains are spread all over this earth from power and dominance. And just, but you think about, I was just watching it and about how manipulation, that's on a bigger scale. The king is trying to marry this princess who's like the chosen one. She's like, it's prophesized that he should marry her.
That's because he wants her land.
Well,
her family's land. He's going to marry them together and merge them.
She's got power. She's a witch and like a fairy.
Oh, I forgot it's Witcher.
An elf. So but she doesn't know her own, anyway, she doesn't know all of her own power, but he's like started this war, but this peasant family, used their daughter to be the lookalike for him. So she was impersonating Serena or whatever her name is. But I was just thinking about that because all these words have been rolling around in my body for a while.
So manipulation's a great one. I will tell manipulation is probably one of the first ones we learn because kids can manipulate their parents.
Yeah.
They know that I don't want to go to bed, so I'll just say I'm hungry, and then you'll start making me food, and I can manipulate another hour without having to go to bed.
Yeah.
We learn that as almost a survival skill.
Well,
How do
I
we get
think-
this situation? But I will tell you this funny story. So my nephew gets in trouble at school. I mean, trouble enough that parents are being talked to, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, my nephew? Not my nephew. Right? So I got to hear the story. And I hear the story and I'm asking questions. And I thought, wow, you have this little girl in school who convinced him to write a swear on a piece of paper and then went and tattletaled that he did that. But she's the one who told him to do it.
Yeah.
So he can't wrap his little perfect non-manipulative brain around the idea. But she's the one who told me to do it. Why would she tell on me? And I said, because she knows it's wrong. So she's getting you to do it. She's telling because she wants to see the consequence of what's wrong.
Yeah.
But she knows it's wrong and she's not going to do it. So she manipulates because he's like, she's bullying me.
Yeah.
I said, does she call you names? He says, no. I go, then she's not bullying you, but she is manipulating you. So we find a couple of things. And then I said, you need to stay away from this girl. I don't want to hear that you're hanging out with this girl. She's not your friend.
Yeah.
But look at first grade, second grade.
Well, I've said it since my kids were little. Girls, I think, are born manipulative.
They lack strength.
And that sounds terrible in a way, but I think that they read body language. Like they are innately born to pick up body language in social cues way earlier than boys do. I tell the story about, my kids, Kayla would always, come in and say that she had gotten hurt, that he hit her, he bit her, he did this, and I'm like, it took me a while to figure out I'm asking the wrong question because boys are very linear thinking. It's yes and no. It's very black and white. And so I would say, did you bite her? And he'd say yes. And I didn't ask, like, why? Like, you shouldn't bite, but that's a new mom, too, and I didn't know. But finally, he showed me, and I was like, oh, my God. He showed me that she had done something to him first. But when it was obvious to me the most is when she'd have her baby dolls and we'd be playing and she'd hand me her baby doll to feed and I'm like, oh, are you crying? Or when I would make a face that I was sad, she would always, or anybody would make a sad face, she would always come over and like hug you, and she would put her forehead up against your forehead while he's over there just playing cars and like he's just totally. So I think girls from a very early age are watching social cues, body language, movement. I think they're picking up on speech.
Girls usually talk first.
Yeah.
And boys talk later. They're usually more physical.
But that's your tools. It's
a tool.
That's your as humans.
And you're either wielding it as a superpower for good, or you're cursing with it.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you hate to be manipulated? And do you feel like you can see it happening to you and you feel out of control with it? Or do you see it after it's happened?
Both. I feel like I've gotten better as I've gotten older to listen to me. And if I feel like I'm being manipulated, then definitely makes me lose respect for that person. Because I tried very hard not to, I was raised on guilt and shame. I was raised in the Bible Belt, and it was, you're never good enough. You're never good enough. Our religion, our church, everybody operated that way. In the school, parents, relatives, everywhere. All your influence was, you never, do better. You're never good enough. So I am sensitive to it. And I feel like, no, I don't like to be manipulated. And I feel like I can catch on pretty early. But if I trust you, it's harder for me to see.
Because you want to believe in that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I give you too many benefits of the doubt. And where I get in trouble is when I don't listen to my gut. And I feel like.
So how does resistance and manipulation play together? Because you use the two of them together.
Well,
do you feel like it's the resistant to being manipulated? Are you putting it in that category?
Well, That's a good question. I don't know if I could, well, maybe not. I don't feel like if I would put it in the same category. I think it's something that your body is resisting, whether it's trying to tell you something almost in a way to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
If you've hit this resistance, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Now it's time to pause. I've had this emotional reaction to this person treating me this way. So I think resistance can be good. It's not.
You're resisting the tyranny.
Well, it's something that's alerted your body, your signal, your emotional rate, your radar that's gone off. And so I think that, hey, why did I hit this? Because you think about if our life is supposed to be in flow, and if we're supposed to be, we're going to hit bumpers. Like you're down the river, you're going to hit some current, you're going to bump into some rocks, and those things. And it's teaching you when you hit that. So when you hit manipulation, so that's the rock of resistance, we should be present enough in our own emotional space to say, we're pausing, and why do I feel this way? Because I think it's teaching us, hey, I don't like this. This is, or, oh, I like this, or this is acceptable. I feel like it's trying to give us a tool. It's trying to guide us closer to what we want.
Or to pay attention and notice.
Yes.
It's an alert.
Yes.
And
being in alignment of the things that you want, I think.
Yeah, and are you noticing with curiosity that what's happening here? Why am I resistant? Because sometimes we resist what's good for us, and we resist doing what we're supposed to do as well. When we talk about The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, we were talking about the resistance that comes from wanting to put beautiful things in the world, wanting to create things, wanting to write, paint, speak, or, all of the things that we want to do that's more on the creative realm, all of the resistance we will feel to that. And you're in this scenario, you're talking about how resistance is to prevent us from being manipulated.
Yeah, so I think that not all resistance is bad resistance. Right. I think it's something, it's the bumpers, it's the world outside telling you, hey, this goes against my core value. And a lot of times people don't know what their core values are. So I was listening to the podcast on the way over here with Stephen Pressfield and Andrew Huberman, and I'm like, man, I'm so in love with those two men.
I know.
So
they're so articulate.
Yes. And just so well thought.
Well, don't forget, Stephen Pressfield's 82.
Yeah.
And
but
he's
he
been
didn't start really this until his 50s. I mean, so still 30 years, but yes.
But he's got 30 years of his message honed.
Yes. But it's also a good reminder is it's never too late to start something new.
Absolutely.
It's never too late to start. He wrote his first book at 52. So one of the things I wrote down, hit me this morning. It's resistance. We've talked about it before, but people will remain in an unpredictable state or a not so great place in exchange for what they could do, like stepping into something new or getting over the anger. They choose to stay in that uncomfortable spot because of the fear of the unknown and not. I feel like it's a lack of belief in yourself, like a lack of courage that it takes to say, hey, I can lay this down. But a lot of times we stay in a complacent, sedate state because it feels comfortable. So I'd rather live with my anger than go through to do the work, to do the actual work, to become something better or to change. It's like our default mode. And sometimes we get I think about anger and I think about being triggered. And what I've learned is what's helping me not to attach. Now, I fail a lot. But what helps me not to attach to other people's emotion is trying to listen from a different ear and not take it personally. Like
what does this person want me to understand?
Well, when somebody says I did something, when I did something to hurt their feelings, and I say, I'm so sorry. There's not a bone in my body that meant any harm. I just was being funny. And I'm sorry. And if you don't accept my apology and you choose to get yourself further worked up, that's on you. I've made peace with myself, saying I've acknowledged that I might have come across but somebody that chooses not to hear my words
Mm-hmm.
and believe my words, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I've been working really hard to like lay down, because so often, you know, it has the ability to trigger us and be like, well, I didn't say that, and you do, and then it's like, well, but you did this. We get so caught up in that. But I'm like, how is that growth? How is that? All it serves is to disrupt your own peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not interested in that anymore. Like, how I'm starting to look at it is it's the lie that you tell yourself.
So I think we only lie to ourselves. So we lie to other
Yes.
people, but I think of so many lies that who are you telling the lie to? Not me, because anything from I'm on a diet but you're eating 6 pieces of cake to I'm not drinking while you have a drink, or
Right.
or my drinking's way down holding a drink.
Right.
Oh, I just caught you on the 1 10-minute time period or something. But
Still bloodshot and
right, and stinky like yesterday's alcohol.
garlic. Like a
Like you were soaked in a vat of rum. But whatever the lie is, and I noticed this in my childhood. And when we talk about the Ollie North thing, I noticed that my family would make these big grand gestures to lie to other people. But then I would hear that other person gossiping about the truth behind the lie.
Yeah.
And I thought, who are you lying to?
Yeah, you're lying to yourself. 90
My grandmother told people my mother was down Cape Cod when she had moved to Texas.
Yes.
And she told that lie for 2 years, and she would want me to tell that lie. And I'm like, I'm not telling that lie. You know why? And then you know what people would do to test my grandmother's lie? Pretend they saw her at the store. So now, because people knew my grandmother was lying, so their effed up brain said, let's play along. And they say, guess who I saw at CVS in Porter Square? Priscilla. And my mother would be like, yeah, doesn't she look amazing? And these two would have a fake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing with ourselves?
I actually think that is such a great thing that you just said. You know, the only real lie is the lie that you tell yourself, is the only one that really matters. Because at the end of the day,
other people don't matter. It's none of your bit. Like,
it's your story.
Mhm.
It's your story. And if you choose to believe. So one of the other things I wrote down is you can never be in integrity to someone else if you're not in integrity to yourself.
right,
And it's the same thing. You can never tell the truth to someone if you're lying to yourself.
right.
You know, the story, the narrative that you have written in your head, are you the hero or are you the victim?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people that want to attack and not hear your words are being the victim.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're choosing not to grow. You're choosing to stay in the resistance. Because resistance is
And
is
not
the
Star
bumper.
Wars, the Resistance.
Yes. Yes.
Not the Resistance.
Yes. The thing
But
that like,
resistance.
the thing that is set, the thing that bumped against you or came into your conscious awareness is asking you, is this good for me? Is this bad for me? What is this trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? We don't ask ourselves these questions. I actually think that, I actually wrote this down a couple of days ago. I think the perfect place to be for each human being is to be in search for what fills your soul.
Mm.
If we're always looking for things that to nourish our soul, I think there would be I think our world would look very different.
And I think people don't have the answer. And I think, what do you need to feel alive? And I think a lot of times when I feel the most alive, I'm noticing the world around me. I make a huge effort to look as I'm leaving my street in the field onto the left when I'm coming up or going down, because there's deer always in that field. So I'm always rewarded for looking there and noticing. Now someone would say, who cares if you see a deer in that field? But
do.
I notice it,
Yeah.
and it's important to
Yeah.
me. So, and that is
Yeah.
my journey, because sometimes I can autopilot in the car while I'm driving and think about my shopping list and what am I making for
Yeah.
dinner. And I go off into almost this fantasy world which is like a daydream of like all of the lists I have to do, all of the, that part of it.
You just get mind numb and you're just on like
And I'm never mind numb if I'm noticing something.
Yes.
So part of me always trying to find where the moon is to rise is so I can notice. And again, pull me back.
It's why I
to
take
a
so many
reality.
pictures on the golf course. It's why I take so many pictures out. And I always like when I'm driving or when
That's a really good point. So
when Chris is riding, like when Chris is driving, like I will look and I want to capture that feeling. That's why I like photography. I like to capture the feeling that when I first saw that. Like, so when we were in Costa Rica and we were coming out of the jungle, it was late in the afternoon, the sun is setting, and there's a big field, like, it's poverty, but most of the time there's nothing but fields up against these mountains, and there's, the tropical scattered ragged trees here and there. It's just kind of very barren. Every once in a while you'll see the horses. But this moment I was trying to capture the mountains, the jungle is in the background, and there are these big mountains, and then these like, it looks like the African trees. They're all kind of like feathered out and short and squat, and they're all one level. It looks like an African plain. But the guy is watering his field, and the way that the sun and the humidity, the steam is coming off of it, it creates this layer of fog just above the grass, and it's kind of getting caught just in the bottom of the trees. Like, I wanted to capture that. Like, to me, I'm so grateful I got to see a moment like that.
And then you get to revisit by revisiting the picture.
Yes, but so it's being present. It's like, wow, I like to take that picture.
But I think people don't understand really how to be present. Right. And I think if people say that, or if people say be mindful, I have fallen in love with Dr. Ellen Langer. So I saw her on Andrew Huberman, then I saw her on Jordan Peterson, and then I made an effort to really dive into her because she was the one who said science screwed up the minute we
separated
said
the mind and body.
So I've been in love with her. I'm in love with her. And she talks about this noticing. So she talks about how if you don't know how to be mindful, or when people say that, if it feels like an esoteric idea, or that you don't know how to be present, just notice.
Yeah.
And then once you start noticing, notice with curiosity.
Yes.
As your next step. Not me, her. She's a genius.
Yes.
She's been doing this.
Yes.
She's into her 70s and 80s, but she talks and is animated like she's 23. And I think that also comes from doing what you love. So I am excited to report that when my book comes out, a number of people told me they're so excited it's coming out before Christmas because they want to buy it as a present.
Love it.
And then there's the part of me that's like, oh no, there are going to be some people who don't think a cookbook is a good present, right? I'm not one of them. I think a cookbook is a good present. However, so I said, why don't we come up, when people tell me that, I go, what if I could come up with like a cool charcuterie board or something cool for the kitchen? And then everybody went mental about that idea.
Yeah.
That's so great. I could use it as a hostess gift. I could use it as a Christmas gift.
Yes.
Right? So then I said, who would I want to collaborate with me? Vern from Studio Vern is a glass artist that I drool at her work. So she is going to do this with me.
Does she have her fall leaves out right now for sale?
Does.
She has porcelain or glass leaves that are just beautiful. So delicate. You should definitely check out her website.
And so she's going to make food appropriate glass work to go along with this. But I don't know how I got on this topic.
Cookbook. Releasing resistance.
No. Oh, about noticing. When I went into her studio, originally it was because I was, as a person viewing art, and I wanted to be affected by it. Going in this time as a person who wanted to collaborate, I noticed different things.
Yes.
And again, I would not have used this word notice if it wasn't for Dr. Ellen Langer and that I've been binge watching her stuff, but she uses notice a lot. And so now I'm using that instead of presence because I have a difficult time being present, where I'm always thinking of the next thing or planning the next thing. And in real estate, you're taught to be rewarded for something you do today 60 days from now or 90 days from now. Yeah. So I've been practicing and having the habits of doing different things instead of being really present today. Yeah. I'm really worried about my future. So this has been a really great thing for me to pull back
Gosh, that is good.
to today.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, to kind of go back a little bit into manipulation, or I'm going to use, we are manipulated by portion control, portion sizes. Because when you see that bag of Doritos, 16 people aren't eating it.
Right.
So instead of saying this is 700 calories of Doritos and there's 4 in this bag,
It's 5,000.
we're saying there's 120 calories in 2 chips, right? There's not 4 servings in a small Haagen-Dazs container of ice cream,
Yes, that is true.
right? But you want to say it's 210
But
calories.
they lie to you.
Right?
And you buy the lie.
And you buy it because you're really lying to yourself.
Yes.
How much do I really need to eat?
Right.
How much do I really, and you can apply this to just about anything.
Yes. Yes.
You can apply it to just about anything. Is there anything else? I think that's why sometimes I get mad at social media is I feel manipulated.
So what he's talking about,
Stephen Pressfield?
Stephen Pressfield and
Huberman?
Huberman, he was talking about the 2 most dangerous things to the creative process. And the creative process, as I was understanding them listening, is doing the work to truly find out who you are and to find out, we're all artists. I believe that we're all artists. We're all artists.
Because we're creating our life.
Yes. As we speak, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. However, we are creating our lives by the choices and the decisions that we make. We are designing our life. He said that many of the things that we see in this world give us an opportunity to be angry or to numb out. And I like that he says that, like, there's so much around us: alcohol, social media, highly processed foods, overeating. There's so many things to
TV.
distract us that nurture anger and numbing out to avoiding the creative process or avoiding
Providing resistance to it.
Yes. Becoming the best version of yourself. It's distracting you from laying down your anger. It's distracting you from doing the things that make you a better person in your business, in your life, just even for yourself, but in your relationship. Like, I can get off on that.
And being a better person is really just being more of yourself.
Yes.
Because it is the lies we tell ourselves and the stories that we kind of label onto ourselves. I was on a podcast with this woman and she's from Australia, and she had said, I'm always asking people, especially in middle life, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Really dial down to that. And I said, everyone said that to me. And for years I kept saying, who am I? Who am I? But really where I really found most of myself was when I said, who am I without this?
Yes.
That to me was an easier get to who I was.
Yeah.
Because so many labels have been put on us. So many expectations have been put on us. Who am I without this was easier for me to drill down. Who am I really?
Yeah. Without being the teacher, without being the mom, without being the uncle, without being
The worker, without
the realtor,
being
with the president, who you are without all the titles, without
Yes.
all the labels.
Yes. That gets me down to a more genuine version of I'm spontaneous, I'm independent, I'm the real
Yes. Yes.
qualities
Yes.
of who am I is easier.
The essence of what you feel inside. Maybe I didn't say it quite way. Who you are is your essence. It's your energy that you
and
carry.
it's the same person
the
I
better way
was
to
at
say it.
6.
Yeah.
I'm an animal lover.
Yes.
I'm compassionate. I'm all of those labels were
a little
easier.
bit rebellious, a little bit
rebellious,
outspoken,
anti-authority.
a little bit curious. Yes.
Yes, those things came easier for me instead of saying, oh, who are you? And me saying those qualities. It was easier when I said, who am I without being a realtor?
But
who
think
am I
about
without
that. Think about that. We're all 6-year-olds because a lot of you're saying that and I didn't change. Like I look back and be like, I still have some of the same determinations about certain things. I still love certain things. I love to be active. I still love to be curious. I'm a little bit outspoken.
You love to be physical.
Yes.
You love the outdoors.
Yes, but I'm like, what if we all see that? And what he said, like when he says that the world is trying to distract us, the world is trying to pull us away from our creative process, meaning keeping us from exploring who we truly are and what we truly want. That is what we get so bogged down. And then we become these boring or mean, grumpy ass adults. And our child is in there. I think that's like what Nick Alleru was talking about. It's like Megan Morani was talking about. You know, we never lose the essence of who we are.
But it's buried underneath.
Well, we pick up all these things. We pick up all these labels. We pick up all these duties and responsibilities. Not that we shouldn't. I mean, we have to feed ourselves and have shelter and all of these things. But we allow those things to dominate who we are.
Or that when we put those on, who we really are isn't really a part of it. If we could bring our real self to all of it, I think we would be a little bit more playful, and then we wouldn't be so miserable doing it.
Yes. Well, I was thinking about it last night. We were watching Nobody But Us, and I'm like, then we were actually watching another show, and there's like some really sexy scenes, and I was like, man, why do we stop? Why do we stop investing in our relationship? Why do we get so complacent in our relationships that we forget to bring the romance? We forget to bring the charm. We forget what it's like to dance. Like, why don't we live in that energy? Like, it was so much fun when we were dating or you're wooing your spouse. And like, so if you were to ask somebody, like, I would love to go on the street and have a microphone and being like, what romantic things do you do as a couple on a normal basis?
What's the last romantic thing you did, and how long ago was it?
Yes. Like, how many times do you, like, when you're wooing your partner? Like, I think about Chris, like, being, like,
so I joke
used
with
to
Chris
love to dance.
So I joke with Chris that if he's exhausted by having to romance you, it's his own fault.
Yes,
because
I totally agree.
He was like the reason why I didn't like reading a lot of romantic books when I was younger.
When I met him, he's like Fabio in the novels.
He was a romantic character from a book.
Yes.
It's like he read his sister's romance novel and thought, I'm going to sing to her under a window.
Yes.
I'm going to pick her flowers from the field. I'm going to do this. And it's like, well, whose fault is that?
But the thing is,
even
I never stopped wanting that.
I know. Even last summer, he's like, let's celebrate Robin. Let's plan a surprise party for her. Let's print out all of the pictures from her, the last few. He still does that. But it's not every day, and it's not every week. And he's exhausted. Let me tell you right now, he's got to come up with those.
Yes, that's true.
He hasn't read any new books to come have new ideas.
I'm so simple. You put on my favorite.
Up for him.
You put on my favorite song. I know, and this wasn't a bash him moment.
No, it wasn't. But I think of because I knew him before I knew you.
When he shows up, he will blow the socks off of anybody. And I feel like I still feel the same way. Like, I still want to be. And so what makes it, I'm just going to use him and I'll use our relationship. Not that it's true, but like, where did you lose that? Where did you lose that?
He didn't lose it.
But I'm saying, like, as in plural, because we stopped doing that for each other. Like, and I'm so easy because I never stop losing that. I'm always looking for an opportunity to do that.
Yes. And he's like, didn't I do it? Isn't that good? Don't I get credit? I just did it in December. And you're like, yeah, but it's October.
I did it 2 years ago in August.
He has
August 24th.
He's got like a little calendar.
2022, I think. Are you sure? I thought that was like last week. Now there's 3 feet of snow on the ground. No, but you think about
I love it.
How many times that people carry that? Remember, go back to when you were dating your spouse or you're dating the person that you were dating. Like, and now we're just like, I'm going to come home. I'll growl at her. I'll growl at him. I'll throw something together. And all I want to do is put my sweatpants on and do this. It's because we've let the world distract us from what we that's where I'm like, our creative process. Of figuring out who we truly are, because that person is always still inside of me.
Yes.
I want a relationship like that every day.
Yes.
I still don't know why, like, your spouse can't walk through the door and like grab you and kiss you passionately, at least just put gum in first.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean.
If you've been out for a long day.
But why do we stop doing those things? Like, why
I don't think we do. Like, I
think
I don't think we do. And partially because I also think I loved The Artist Way. And The Artist Way is a book. Everyone should read it, even if you're not an artist, because it allows you to be more artfully in your life. And one of the things she talks about is artist dates. You take yourself on a date. And I think you can't woo somebody else if you don't know how to woo yourself, because you don't even know what that is.
Right.
And I felt like I haven't been very wooful to my significant other. So I'm like, I just bought a little present. It's $14.99. It's not a big deal, but I knew he would like it. And in, thinking about it, planning it, picking up the thing, and then ordering it, and then I was like, oh, it's going to come in the mail. I'm so excited. That gave me a little bit of that artist date energy.
Yeah.
And I thought about you. I thought about you in a way that was positive, and that I wanted to do something nice for you. That was that feeling.
Yeah.
When I go to the supermarket and I buy myself flowers, I'm doing something nice for myself.
Yes.
But I'm dating myself.
Yes.
It was a few weeks ago. I wanted to go to the Charles Regatta. I have never been. John's like, I don't know if I want to go. They're going to have protests in the city. And he works past that. He's like, I don't want to be in the car. I said, I totally understand. I'm still going to go. I want to go. It was a beautiful day out. It was like 75. And that I was going by myself. And instead of saying, oh, I don't
your
have
best
a friend.
bailed on you.
No, I have no one to, I could have said, stupid, I have no one to go with, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't. I thought, I'm going to do exactly what I want, exactly how I want to do it. I went in and parked and took the train because I don't like driving in Boston. I immediately got off and got myself the best pizza. Then I walked down the Charles River. Then I walked over to where the things were. It was not as exciting as I thought it was going to be at all, by the way, the Charles Regatta. I would have had to walk another 8 miles to the finish line, which I had already walked 4.8 miles to the bridge to watch them. But it was beautiful out, and it was sunny, and the trees were perfect. And then I walked back slower, then sat on a bench, and then people watched and had the best time. Then I got to across the street from the pizza place. There was a boutique. I went and I got a cute little sweater. Then I got back on the train. I went and I had Thai food in Cambridge. Then I came home in the sunset and I dated myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it was a great day. And I wasn't lonely. There was nothing about it that didn't feel good. But I also indulged Lisa for 9 hours.
Yeah, I think that we should indulge ourselves. I think we should.
And I think you can't date someone else until you date yourself.
Yes.
And then in that, I was like, I haven't done anything nice for John in a while. And so that was also like, what could I make food-wise that he would like, which is how the butternut squash apple gorgonzola thing came about. And and then I bought him the little present. And now I don't feel like I've been neglectful in any way. But then I started thinking, like, what do I want to do for him for Christmas? What shows do I want to go to? What experiences do I want to have with him?
Yeah.
I even pretended for a second I wasn't going to put up all the Christmas trees.
Because
he doesn't want to put up all
November
the
1st. Like, should I start? We're like the first weekend.
The problem is Thanksgiving is the very last Thursday of the month instead of the third
Thursday.
Thursday.
So my trees are going to be up. Maybe not our real tree. But since the kids are going to be home for Thanksgiving this year, maybe that weekend is a good weekend to go get the tree.
Yes.
Because everybody's home. But before we're going to wrap up. So that's to ask the question better. Why do we stop working for the romance in our relationship? And that's what you were talking about, like learning to date yourself. Now it gets you to be like, oh, I want to date him. I want to bring the romance
or
back.
let me bring a better version of me.
Yes.
Because I remembered how fun I am.
Yes.
All by myself. Well, now I should do more fun things. Like, I need to be more fun. I need to be more attentive. I need to be more... But also because my own cup was filled. I did what I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted to do it. Now, there's 40 people who'd be like, that was the most boring day I've ever heard.
Oh, God,
I wouldn't want to do it once, let alone,
Should have brought your skates.
That's what I thought of when I got down there. I thought, man, if I knew that the finish line was
could
8.2
knock that-
miles, I
right.
would have knocked out.
Knock that out in less than 30 minutes.
I would have
probably.
knocked that out in an hour. And that's what I thought too. I want to come down here and roller skate with Robin.
Yes.
Like it made me think of
Yes.
other people, but it
And then
was
get some really good food.
yes, and there's great food down there. You know, Boston has great food.
So he also said, well, that's probably, we're going to run out of
But
time.
to answer your question about the dating, I do think we're always bringing the romance. Not always, but I do think it wouldn't feel special and romantic if it was happening every minute of the day.
I agree with you. But I think showing up in that tenderness,
Mm-hmm.
showing up in that, it's not that it has to be grand gestures. But showing up being
Thoughtful.
like, well, so our counselor had said to us, our therapist had said to us, wake up with the morning of how can I please my princess? How can I please my queen? How can I serve my queen? How can I serve my king? How can I serve this person that I love the most? Because he is, you want to look at your man as he's your king. And you want to be,
Well, you want to do things not resentfully.
Yes.
So if you're, I
How
know.
can I show her that I love her?
Yep.
How can I show him that I love him? That's the gift, and like I feel like we get complacent. I feel like we get relaxed and we get bogged down with responsibilities.
Yeah, definitely an obligation.
Yes.
And it starts, how can you bring more love if you're resentful? So you got to start with laying down some resentments.
Yes.
Step 1.
Forgiveness.
Step 1.
Yes.
Benefit of the doubt.
What did I say? Forgiveness and resentment.
Mm-hmm.
Things you have to lay down almost daily.
Yes. So
It's not a one and done.
try that for next week. Try laying down 1. You're listening to Lisa and Robin on the mic on WSMN, 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live. Go like us on Spotify and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And until next week, have a wonderful week, guys and gals.
WSMN